And now, my children, I command you, love Levi, that ye may abide, and exalt not yourselves against him, lest ye be utterly destroyed. For to me the Lord gave the kingdom, and to him the priesthood. And he set the kingdom beneath the priesthood. To me he gave the things upon the earth, to him the things in the heavens. As to the heaven as the heaven is higher than the earth, so is the priesthood of the Most High higher than the earthly kingdom, unless it falls away through sin from the Lord and is dominated by the earthly kingdom.
I have a question too. What period of time was that?
Well, this was, you want to find out like the date?
Well, yeah, because my next question is because I didn't understand, when Jesus indulged in wine, like.
It never says that he indulged in wine, though.
Well, wasn't it in the scripture that said he was a winebibber?
He said they was going to call him that. He wasn't that.
Oh, I mean,
No, that's what they called him.
For years I was, through the old ways that we were learning.
Yeah, they used to teach us that, he was drunk with wine. That's why his eyes was red, because he drank wine.
Right, exactly. And that's what I thought. I thought that he is moderate.
And they said his eyes was on fire because his eyes was really on fire. When John saw Christ, he saw him in his glory. So when it says that his feet was like brass as burned in the furnace, then they say, what color is brass? Brass is a derivative of brown. What happened if you take a penny and put it in the oven? It turns black. So that's Christ was black. That ain't what it was saying. It was saying that if you seen brass, when they melt it down, at the temperature that you got to melt brass down, it glows like the sun. That's how hot you got to get it. And it's so hot that it's so bright. It's like white. It's like it hurts your eyes, like looking at the sun. So when it says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, they was like, yeah, his eyes was as a flame of fire because he was drunk. His eyes was red. But his eyes.
How would he bring wine to a wedding? I mean, if it wasn't that sinful, or like, was it before him?
This was before Christ. This was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Then Jacob had 12 sons. This is Judah, the fourth son of Jacob.
Right. Okay.
12 patriarchs. Right. That's the 12 sons of Jacob that became the 12 forefathers of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel, where the names of each tribe came from. These are the men that were the progenitors of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
So
okay, because back to the wine thing. Sometimes may have a glass of wine. I mean, I do know too much of it can make things a little different. But from what you were reading, so like we shouldn't deal with it at all. That's why I brought up Christ.
Well, Jacob. Judah was saying, he was like, okay, you might have a glass of wine, but some of us can't deal with that. He said, because it's spirits that's waiting to attack you. And wine is the minister of the spirits of jealousy and fornication. So these evil entities will take advantage of that. And wine affects different people in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Some people could drink a little bit of alcohol and their whole character change. Some people could drink a little more or whatever. But in any case, once you get to that point, you get to a point where your mind gets blinded and you become vulnerable to the attack of evil spirits. So he's saying, because of how it is, I tell y'all don't need to mess with it because it's too risky. Because it could risk you sinning horribly against the Most High.
Right. It just, when I hear it, it makes me wonder why Christ, he is Christ, why he would take that chance and turn water into wine and let everybody have a good time, knowing the consequences of it.
Well, let's get that scripture real quick. John 2. It says, on the third day there was a marriage in Canaan of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted, so now basically one thing is this: third day was a marriage. So the Christ's mother was at the marriage, so she was there, and they called for Christ and the disciples to come to the marriage. So this is definitely somebody that they knew. It says, and when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, they have no wine. Jesus saith unto her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not come. So he wasn't really thinking about that, but he was thinking about his mother. His mother's like, we having a wedding, and see, it wasn't like a wedding like we have today, and everybody go rent out a hall, and they get a whole bunch of wine and food and the liquor, and it'd be a whole bunch of stuff, and they got the DJ there, and they jamming and drinking, and it's a party. It was a little different vibe back then. All right, it says, Jesus saith unto her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not come. My hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servants, whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus saith unto them, fill the water pots with water. And they filled them to the brim. And he saith unto them, draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and all when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. Okay, let me read it. It says, and all when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. So he usually put out the good stuff first, then when everybody done drank up all that, then they bring out the bad stuff. It says, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Canaan of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. So he turned the water into wine, and that basically established him with his disciples. And then whoever the marriage was, whoever it was, it also established, the miracle was established. It traveled around in the area. His name went out of what he had did. It says what he did and basically what came out of it. Anything is an assumption to think that Christ and his disciples and them all got smashed. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I understand that, but just, how today when they try to hold you accountable, if you give a party and somebody get drunk and trip and stuff, and they hold you accountable, it just seems like
well, it's a bad thing though if like wine, alcohol is definitely, when they say wine and spirits, it's definitely like that, and some of the most horrible, most passionate things happen when people get drunk. People.
Number one.
Say that again.
It's the number one thing. You're right. When people get in trouble,
Right.
alcohol is called.
So it's definitely something that spirits use to get control of your body to do their thing in the earth. So the whole thing Judah is saying is like, look, I done been through this. I done seen what it is. And I'm telling y'all, don't do this. And if you do it, definitely don't be in the presence of nothing where you can get jammed up. I mean, if you want to have a little bit of wine and you're not going to be in the presence of nobody or no situation, you can be protected, you can have a little bit, I guess. That's what he's saying. He said, but it's better that you don't really mess